What's going on, everybody? We're here with another video, finally. I haven't posted in a minute. I've been really busy with a bunch of other stuff, but I'm trying to make this more of a priority now. And today's video is special because this is something I have been feeling recently, and I finally got out of my slump, and I feel like what I did could probably help a lot of you, because I think a lot of people are feeling this way right now. So if you feel behind, this video is for you. For context, a little bit about me. My name is Max. I'm 26. If you haven't seen me before, nice to have you here. I've been on my self-improvement journey for almost 4 years now. Go to the gym, been reading books, journaling, improving my social life, indulging in some hobbies, etc. Right? I have made some substantial progress in that time, but sometimes it feels like it's not enough. If I look back at me at 20, 21 years old, different person, right? But some days I feel like I should be further, you know? And I've been feeling behind recently, like I said, and I want to share what has helped me so that you can implement it right away. So in this video, we are going to go over the reasons you're feeling behind and why, the anti-self-improvement remedy that I kind of came up with, and how to prevent yourself from falling into this trap again. So if that sounds good to you, let's get into it. So chapter 1, why you feel behind. Let's be real. How could you not? Every single day, we are bombarded with more information than we know what to do with. What used to take hours, days, or even weeks of time, energy, and money is now available to consume in seconds. And if you're in the self-improvement, online business, or influencer space in any capacity, there is always a new 20-year-old jacked millionaire making you feel like you're doing everything wrong. You know, no hate to those guys, but I think for those of us who are in this realm of online consumption, I think that it's almost like demotivating, you know? Also, just in everyday life, people you know from your childhood, from your hometown, from school, friends, whatever, they're advancing careers, they're getting degrees, finding love, and they may even be married or having kids, right? I'm 26, like I said. I know people in my personal life that are married, having kids, all that kind of stuff. And I'm so happy for them, of course. But like, I get what people feel because we're at that age, if you're anywhere near my age, that people are starting to move on to their true adult lives. And some of us feel like we're lagging behind, right? But here's what you must understand, all right? Social media is a highlight reel. It's not a real highlight, all right? I know of people who make their life on social media seem so incredibly awesome, but their life actually sucks. You know what I mean? There are people out there that, you know, put on this facade of having such a interesting and lavish life. And then you see them in reality and it's not what it is. All right. People only show the 5% of their life that's worth showing, but do not show the 95% of their reality that goes on behind closed doors. Okay, so when you see that 20-year-old jacked millionaire, you gotta think to yourself that that's not his life every second of every day. There are business expenses and stressful financial situations and probably loans with interest, credit card debt. There's, you know, a bunch of shit that we don't know about. So take it with a grain of salt, okay? And another thing, your algorithm caters to your interests and tastes and knows exactly what to show you in order to keep you hooked and emotionally invested. You know, there's a reason why there are so many jacked dudes, music and bands, and like fucking, I don't know, like random things that I like on my For You page on Instagram or whatever, because it knows I'm interested in those things, right? So you have to remember that, all right? Everybody has different protocols, opinions, and advice they want to give you, including myself, right? So you don't know who to believe anymore. You know, if you're in this space of trying to improve yourself or trying to do something for yourself for your future, you're getting bombarded with all these like contradictory opinions from different people and you don't even know what to do. Information overload and it becomes overstimulating. I get it. Nobody knows what they're doing, all right? We're on a floating rock in the middle of space. We're born into the world without our own awareness and unable to choose the circumstances of our own environment growing up, all right? Let that sink in for a second. I mean, people want to take shit so seriously, but like just think about how like ridiculous that is. Like that's kind of insane that we're in this floating rock. in a specific part of the floating rock, wherever you may live. And like there's like a set of people around us that we grew up with, and there's like billions of other people on the planet. You know what I mean? Like it's just insane. So the bottom line here is that you feel behind because you don't have direction, all right? The days get blurry, weeks and months pass by before you even realize it. This happened to me. When you're on like this mundane routine and like every day feels the same, the days pass you by, man. So you're also probably spending way too much time comparing yourself to people online who don't even know your existence, or people in real life who don't even care really that much. Like, think about it. You are comparing yourself to somebody that does not know that you're even comparing yourself to them. That's kind of dumb, right? When you think about it. It's valid because we have all these unrealistic standards on social media that people try to portray, which is a complete facade. But the best piece of advice I have for that, compare yourself to your past self, all right? If you're doing better than you were 5 years ago, I think you're doing all right. You're also so fixated on the future that you cannot stop to enjoy the present. And I've struggled with this, I've always just wanted to, once I make this much a month, once I get to that weight, once I do this, this, and this, then I'll be happy. That is a surefire way to never be happy. I'll tell you that much. Because we live in a world of we constantly need more, want more, we're never satisfied. And I'll get into that a little later. But trust me when I say try to enjoy the little things, right? How can you enjoy $400 bottle of champagne if you can't enjoy a cup of coffee? I don't know. You know what I mean? The little things are just as important, if not more important than the big ones, all right? Let's get to chapter 2, the anti-self-improvement remedy. The self-improvement trap. Self-improvement, in a nutshell, is an incredible thing to do for yourself. Taking the time and energy to invest into your future self physically, mentally, emotionally, financially, etc. All right? The problem with modern self-improvement advice is that it's constantly being contradicted by online influencers. One guy tells you need to grind harder and be a fucking hustler. The other guy tells you that you should live intentionally and slowly, and you're kind of stuck in between not knowing, because that was me for quite a while. If you're not doing it their way, then you're doing it wrong. It's become a competition of whose way is the right way, what's the most productive. But that's not what self-improvement is at all. There's always one area of your life that is constantly being ostracized for not being improved upon or optimized. The goalposts just get further and further away. And just when you feel like you make progress, there is a new method or a more intensive version of what you're already doing, which makes you feel like you're not doing enough. I have gotten stuck in this for more times I can even count, all right? You're always focused on the end goal and can never appreciate any progress you've made. The I'm never satisfied attitude. That shit is so cringe. You know what I mean? Like, the I'm never satisfied just makes you sound like you'll never be happy. You're never satisfied. That means you're never happy. You're never grateful or never appreciative. And that kind of goes in line with like the nonchalant, the trying to be nonchalant. I don't know why that's such a thing or why that has ever been a thing. I think that human beings with some, sense of humor and like lightheartedness, those are the kinds of people I like to be around. I don't know about you, but the whole nonchalant act is cringe to me. If you're naturally more introverted and quiet and like maybe emotionally disconnected and it's not an act, then like it's fine. But it's people who are naturally a bit quirky, like me, a bit goofy and lighthearted, that try to be someone or not for the approval of others. That's where you lose me. But it's just a hamster wheel of constant self-deprecation and feeling like you are never good enough. The exact opposite of how self-improvement should make you feel. Doing these things for yourself, right? Going to the gym, reading books, sleeping and eating properly, taking care of yourself physically, mentally, and like chasing your dreams, like those things are commendable. That is respectable. They should make you feel like you're going somewhere in life. You should never feel like you're trapped. And if you're feeling trapped in your self-improvement journey, you're doing it wrong, right? If it feels like a chore constantly, if you feel like you're just not making any progress, then you're doing it wrong. You got to reevaluate, all right? The solution, anti-self-improvement, kind of, all right? There's a caveat. I don't mean to stop self-improvement altogether, all right? But take it off the pedestal, okay? Your life should not be focused on just self-improvement. You should strive to improve yourself and to build a future for yourself and to set standards for the people around you, right? Of course, you should. But it does not need to be your whole personality, all right? It's off-putting, all right? Because I was that guy. And what's funny is by being that guy, I actually went backwards and made less progress and kind of went back to square one in a way. You also need to stop consuming so much self-improvement content. You know what I mean? Like, listen, I know I'm kind of contradicting myself here because my channel is, based off of self-development and stuff, but like, this even counts for me. Do not keep consuming all this content, to get motivated and to get hyped to do stuff. Totally fine. But there's a certain point where you just consume so much and you don't act enough that your brain thinks that you're acting by just consuming. Whatever the dopamine science is behind that, I couldn't tell you, but I get it because I've been like that too, especially recently. You don't need more information, all right? You already know more than enough to improve upon your life, right? You should probably sleep better, get stronger in the gym, eat right, learn things, educate yourself, socialize, work on your craft or a high leverage skill to make an income, etc. Okay, you know all of that. Most people know these things, right? But the reason the self-improvement industry is so strong is because there's always just more to do. A lot of these online guys make you feel like that you're not doing enough and there's even more that you need to strive for, But realistically, we don't need more information, right? We need more action, and not action that somebody tells you have to do, action that you put upon yourself based on your own knowledge and what you want out of your life. Because at the end of the day, me or any other online figure in this space cannot make you do anything, right? You need to do it yourself. And you need to come to that conclusion by yourself and not with too much influence from even me or someone else, all right? You also got to stop thinking about the destination so much. You have to enjoy the journey. Because think about it. If you cannot enjoy the journey to get there, what makes you think that you'll enjoy it, the destination, when you get there? If you can't enjoy the little things, you can't enjoy the big things, right? You got to give yourself credit where it's due. If you consistently go to the gym, you watch what you eat, you read, you sleep well, whatever self-improvement things you implemented, anything, this is your permission to pat yourself on the back. Because most people don't do those things. You have to understand, like, I know this self-improvement content is so pushed on the algorithm. You think everybody's in the gym. You think everybody watches what they eat. You think everybody's sleeping. No, it's actually relatively small, the amount of people who really put in the effort towards these things. And I forget that because I'm seeing all this content of people younger than me, my age, older, whatever, in a better place in life than me. But that's because I'm so into this content. It's because my algorithm has pushed that, You have to remember, some of these things that you see online are not real. Like, it's unrealistic for an average day to look like what you see, all right? Stop downplaying the work you put in because someone online tells you that you don't have enough time and that you have to work harder. It's another thing. I'm sick of these 22-year-olds like, oh yeah, you don't have enough time. Like, your 20s, like, if you're 25 and you don't have this, like, you're out of time. It's like, no, not fucking true, bro. Like, I'm sorry. Everybody's got their own timeline, all right? Whatever place you are in life right now is where you're meant to be. And that can change depending on the action you take, right? You can get to places sooner if you have the right mindset and you take the right action. But you can only do that by trying and failing. All right. You don't need to work fucking harder. You just need to act at all. You know what I mean? Like, doing more does not equal more results, but doing the right things does. Right now, however old you are, okay, 16, 25, 40, I don't know how old you are, right? But in 10, 20, 30 years, you're going to wish that you cherish this time instead of ostracizing and comparing yourself, okay? Do you think in 10 years from now, you're going to look back and be glad that you made yourself feel so shitty about things like this? Are you going to look back and cherish the times where you compared to people online that were taking steroids or scammed people to make money? Or are you going to look back and feel good that you took the action to go to the gym because now in your age range, you're in better shape than like 95% of people, right? Or you learn things from books or from investing into courses and coaching or something, right? and you've become a better person because you invested in yourself. Don't waste your time trying to make yourself feel bad or letting these people make you feel bad. All right. Here's another great piece of advice that, I've heard a couple times, but this is something I constantly try to do. All right. You want to let your inner child out. And what I mean by this, all right, when we were children, the world was our oyster. Our curiosity outweighed our anxiety, and we went wherever that took us. All right. We could be kids and we would find, I don't know, the street lights turning off fascinating, and we just like stare at it, like something stupid like that. What happened? You know what I mean? I can tell you what happened. We grew up, we became adults, and families, friends, teachers, people we look up to told us no, or told us that's wrong, or told us be realistic. And as we got older, most people live a life they don't necessarily like. It's really sad. And people just kind of do what they're told. A lot of people don't think for themselves. They kind of just like are on autopilot. And I think as we go through teenage years and early adulthood, that conditioning from school and family and friends, it catches up to us. And I know I've dealt with this. Everybody does, right? And we have expectations of others that others have of us. We have responsibilities. We have less free time, things add up, and we don't have the freedom that we did as a child. When you're a kid, all you had to do was do your homework and go to school. You know what I mean? And a great antidote to this is get into something you loved as a child. All right? A sport you used to play, a nerdy thing like a game or something, right? A hobby of some sort. If you used to love to draw as a kid, go draw some pictures, get a coloring book, right? I don't know why people feel this need to try and act so mature as adults. Okay? Being a mature person is extremely important, but trying so hard to act like your life is together, to try and act like you're more adult than other people, that shit's cringe, To be too nonchalant, cringe. That is not how I roll, man. Like, I'm a nerd, inside and out. But does that make me a failure? Does that make me lazy? No. I love going to the gym. I love working on myself. I read books. I care about what I put in my body. I'm a musician. I love playing music. I'm in a band. Does that make me weird? No, dude. Let your inner child out. Embrace the things you once loved, because there was a point in your life where you shut it out because you felt guilty of it. This is your permission to let that free. Go be a child, because at the end of the day, we are all just children in adult bodies. That is it. And the people who let their child out are the happiest people and the most free people. And I've seen this in real life. The people who, they don't care about others' opinions. They don't care if people are doing better than them. They care if they are happy themselves. And I can tell you that this piece of advice will help you probably the most. It will do wonders on your mental health and burnout and exhaustion and the feeling of feeling behind and the constant comparison of people. Like I'm telling you, most people are too afraid to let their inner child out because they care what people think. But once you let it out, you stop caring what people think because it makes you happy, right? So here, this is the final chapter. This is how to prevent this feeling in the future. And now it's going to happen again. We can't fully prevent this, right? You're going to feel this because you're a human being. Although you can take actions to prevent it from arising, it will eventually come to the surface again. Life is going to be life. It's going to do its thing, stress you out. Our egos will act with it. All right. Excuse me. And this is what I like to do when I feel this way. I ask myself, am I in a better place right now than I was 1 year ago, 5 years ago? If the answer is yes, then I let it go. Because I can guarantee you the overwhelming majority of you're doing better than you were 1, 3, 5 years ago. You are, But for the very minority of you, if in your case you answer no, this is my protocol, all right? This is going to be your action step. And even if you say yes, I feel like you should do this anyways, all right? You might have heard of this, but I call it the Dream Life Protocol. And I implore that everybody who's watching this video that you do this. This is your action step. In my videos, I like to provide something that you can do and implement right away. I can give you information, I can rant, give you opinions, stories, whatever. But at the end of the day, it means nothing if you don't implement it in your life. Because our brains, when we absorb information like this that is helpful to our lives, we kind of confuse it as the same thing as actually doing the thing. So please, please, please do this. Take out a piece of paper and a pen, or go on a Google Doc and type it out, just something. Do this, all right? I want you to describe an average day in your current life in extreme detail, all right? Ask questions like, what time do I go to sleep? What time to wake up? What do I do for work? How much do I make? What are my hobbies? Social life, love life, health, physical, mental, everything. Like the average day that you have, right? You write it in painstaking detail. Like just be kind of obsessive with it. Like try your best to be as detailed as possible with this, all right? It may take a minute. I don't want it to be like a fucking 60-second thing. I want you to take at least 5 to 10 minutes on this, right? But once you finish that, I want you to do the same exercise, but I want you to describe an average day in your dream life 1 year from now. So whatever date today is April 9th, 2026, right? Whatever day that you are watching this, I want you to write the 1 year from that day, and I want you to do the same thing and like describe an average day in your dream life. You know, how old will you be 1 year from now? What is the desired financial, physical, mental, social situation? What do you do for work, hobbies, time do you go to sleep, wake up? Everything in between. Like literally the average day in your life, but your dream life 1 year from now. And you can be as unrealistic as you want. Like go fucking crazy with it. Like if you're currently making $0 online and you want to say you're making fucking 50K a month online, do it. You know what I mean? Just do it. So once you do all of that, there is one more step. This is the part 2 to it. All right. Once you do that, pick 1 to 3 areas of your life where you want to improve upon for a 3-month time frame. All right. This is how you implement this now. And it's a short enough time frame to feel like it's not like you're not like attached to it. It's not too long. But it's also like not like a fucking week, like change your life in a week, because it's just unrealistic, bro. You know what I mean? 3 months is a good amount of time to where you can start to implement things and start to see and feel some change, right? So I usually go with my PMF method, which is physical, mental, financial. For example, lose 20 pounds, read 2 books, save $1,000, right? It doesn't have to be that. That's just a recommendation that I usually like to tell people. But pick 3 goals, all right? Whatever that may be for you, all right? Pick 3. You could pick 1, but I would say 1 to 3. Do not pick more than 3. I don't want your focus to be scattered in too many places. 1 to 3, okay? For each goal, I want you to put 1 to 3 needle-moving actions for each, and you can track them every week to see progress, right? So, for example, if you wanted to lose 20 pounds, track your calories, work out 3 times a week, and aim for 6,000 plus steps a day. Move more, right? That's like the 20% that gets you 80%, right? If you want to read 2 books, read 10 pages a day. Or another thing could be leave the book on the desk where you can see it, right? If you want to save $1,000, limit eating out to 1 to 2 times a week. Cook at home more, whatever it may be. Put, a certain amount of money away every paycheck, whatever that thing may be for you, right? Those are just examples, but feel free to explore with this and just make it simple, right? It's not supposed to be complicated, right? This is proper self-improvement. This is intentional, dedicated action, right? You're not fucking scatterbrained, right? You pick 1 to 3 areas of your life for 3 months. You pick that, do it for 3 months, and after the 3 months, you evaluate, and then you keep going or you change things up. It's up to you. That's how I do it, right? Every 3 months, I reflect and see what I did right, what I did wrong, what improved, what didn't. Maybe I keep it the same. Maybe I change it, right? It's not supposed to be complicated. This is direction. This is the simplest way to do it, right? From trial and error, I have learned so much, and it just overcomplicating things makes it complicated, obviously. And, it may not be easy, right? You may feel like giving up. You may be tired, right? But it is simple. And when you make it simple, it does become easier over time, right? So implement this, take the time to really do this, because this will help you. I'm currently doing it, right? So with all that being said, thank you for watching in this 25 some odd minutes of advice that you probably didn't even ask to hear. But if you made it all the way to the end, I appreciate that a lot. And, more videos coming soon. I've been kind of on a hiatus. I've been focusing on music and my health, and I've kind of just been procrastinating a little bit, but I'm back. I'm going to be doing this like for real. And If you like this presentation style of video, let me know. If you don't, let me know. But like, I personally enjoy it. It makes my job easier. You know, I like to explain things as I read them. I feel like it's easier on me, and maybe it's easier on you. I don't know if you're a visual learner, but anyways, yeah, thanks for watching. If you made it to the end, I really hope this helped you, because this would have helped me, you know? So, with all that being said, peace out. I'll see you guys in the next one.